the next 5 minutes. So be seeking shelter. You need to be getting out of your mobile home. You need to find adequate shelter here in Coxsey, right along Highway 72. It's at Snake Road and Wright Road, just to the north there. And currently it is 4 miles due west of Hardy Road and Highway 72. And this is moving right down Highway 72 right now. So if you're in this area, again, you don't need to be driving any farther west than Hardy Road right now. And you probably want to stay off the road completely here. If you're driving, say you're going from Athens along Highway 72, you just need to stop. So again, this is a dangerous storm moving pretty much due east here at 50 miles per hour. Let's reset the view. And we've got another storm that's developed here around Florence. We still have some strong storms in and around Fayetteville, south of Pulaski, but clearly the tornado-warned storm now moving into Limestone County. That will likely be continued. At least that's my thought right now. Tornado warning out. There's the NOAA weather radio. That may include Madison County. Here's the new tornado warning. Goes right up to Madison County. So tornado, you need to be seeking shelter in Athens right now for a possible tornado with this storm. We continue to watch it be the most impressive storm out here, and it has more of that classic hook echo signature right now, getting ready to move into Coxsey. As we speak, I'm going to take a look at, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to go over. Feel free to interject anything, Margo.
Here's what they have thus far. Tornado warning, including Athens, Elkmont, Thatch, until 8 p.m.
Okay. But again, this storm that's coming into Coxsey now, we may not have anything confirmed with it. But here's the latest from the National Weather Service office. Tornado warning until 8 o'clock. At 7:26, severe thunderstorm capable tornado was located near Rogersville, 14 miles west of Athens, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So again, you need to be seeking shelter now in the city of Athens, all along Highway 72. And as you go out State Highway 99 towards Mount Rosal, probably going to see some hail there. And if this storm is producing a tornado now, it's possible you'll have debris falling from the sky in northern Limestone County, things like boards and shingles and insulation as well. So let me take a look here at another computer source. Get over here real quick. Again, I'm going to go in here and monitor my cameras as well.
While you're doing that, folks, if you are listening to us on the stream, go ahead and refresh your page. I see a lot of you having issues. Refresh that page and it'll pull up for you.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion there. Again, a lot of people, again, some of you may be losing power with this storm due to the amount of lightning that's going on in and around Athens right now as well, especially on the western side. We do want to make sure we're watching that closely. Going to go ahead and take another look off camera here at the camera that's over in Athens. Curious to see what it is showing right now in the city of Athens. On the west, again, it's the west side as the storm approaches from the west side. That we have a lot of lightning, and that may illuminate the possible tornado as well. So I'm switching here. Again, I'm looking off camera. Right over Coxsey right now, the worst of the weather's moving in. You may actually hear a loud roar from this. Okay, so let's switch over to Max 1 here real quick. I want to talk more about if you're in the path of this goes into Athens, into Limestone County. If you're about 30, 45 minutes in the path, and that would take it right along the Limestone-Madison County line, you need to be leaving your mobile home. You need to be preparing to seek shelter. Make sure your phone is charged. Arrange your safe place. So that means if you've got your safe place that you go to, you should have your water there. You should have your blankets there. You should have what you need. And also find a flashlight while you still have power right now. Again, this is down the road in the path. You guys can switch back to radar. So the storm continues to show signs that it could produce a possible tornado. The new track here is shifted slightly to the southeast, and I think that is because of the fact that they're expecting this boundary to the north to kind of interact with it a little bit. And for that reason, they're going to have it jog a little bit farther to the south and east, potentially. I'm going to switch back over here and get back into max 2 here real quick. So again, watching this storm, I'm going to expand the view here in just a second and continue to monitor the storms coming in from the west. But overall, again, tornado watch until midnight tonight for all areas from Huntsville, Hartselle, Coleman, down to Joppa and Arab to the west. I'm basically coming in here and I'm redoing part of this show over here, so bear with me. All right, so we're going to switch from here to max 2 in just a second. Just want to give you a heads up back there. I want to kind of update everyone on the current radar situation. Rogersville, all clear now. The storm is now passed to your east. The storm southeast of Muscle Shoals, we're going to have to watch this, moving towards Leeton. This one's kind of showing this bowing here on the back, actually the hook on the back side, possibly some large hail developing with that storm there. So once again, moving towards Leeton, southeast of Tuscumbia, starting to see the lightning increasing there. So as we go forward in time, I'm going to go ahead and put a storm track on this one here as well. As we go from Leeton, this is going to be right along alternate 72. This one's moving east at about 50 miles per hour as well. So this takes it into Leeton around 7:35, Town Creek 7:45, Cortland 7:52. If the storm continues to intensify, that's when you could expect the possibility of damaging winds. And of course, we'll have to watch that tornado threat with it. With every sweep of the radar, we're starting to see more and more rain developing out here. And so eventually what we need is for this all to become rain cooled out there, and that will help things out. But for right now, we continue with a possible tornado on the east side of Coxsey, moving along Highway 72 towards Athens. Down the road, we have Capshaw, Harvest, and Monrovia. You need to be thinking about where you may have to go if this storm continues its intensity and track to the east. Again, it's tracking east at 50 miles per hour. A lot of lightning still going on within this storm.
And don't forget that Athens High School's safe room and storm shelter is open if you need it. Also, Moores Mill Volunteer Fire Department has their storm shelter open as well. Don't forget Decatur City Hall is also a storm shelter in the basement, and animals are allowed there. So don't forget, there are safe spaces to go. Right now, make that decision now. As Brad mentioned, that storm moving into Athens, so you still have time.
Very good point there. Again, new warning coming out. Probably that area I was just talking about off to the west. Weather radio just came on, so it's probably just getting triggered. Again, a number of thunderstorms. Our storm continues to show signs of a possible tornado west of Athens. And with that, we continue to monitor the potential for a developing tornado and damaging winds, as well as large hail, as this all tracks to the east at 50 miles per hour. Again, the tornado warning for Limestone County right now extends all the way to the Madison County line. I do want to switch over to Max 2 here real quick. I'll let you know you can find our coverage on the radio here, our radio partners, WFIX FM 91.3 out in Florence. You've also got us in the shoals on WVNA 105.5, WKAC in Athens, that covers all of Limestone County, and WRSA Mix 96 in the Huntsville metro area. Of course, they cover a very large area as well. And you get down towards Gunnersville, WJIA 88.5, WKEA in Scottsboro 98.3, and WZYX, that's 1440 AM in Cowan, Tennessee. So if you're in a mobile home, apartment, we're going to go over some of these areas here, what you need to be concerned with. Again, the weather safety, you need to plan ahead. You should have had this plan once the tornado watch was issued. You need to be leaving your mobile home there in Limestone County if you're in the path of this storm. Again, this mobile home could become airborne within this. As far as the apartment complex goes, we're talking about get to the lowest floor, find the enclosed room with no windows, and this is true for crawl space homes or even slab homes. You want to get to the lowest level of the home, and you want to get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You need to avoid large rooms. Interior stairwell is a good idea here in apartments or even a duplex, things like that. Stay off the elevator. That would be the worst place to be. As far as the basements go, you want to get in, of course, if you have a basement, not as many basements around here, get under something sturdy in the basement. Just because you're in the basement excuse me, doesn't mean you're necessarily protected from this, because what's up there could collapse into the basement. So cover your head and neck and get a helmet to protect your head. Again, don't get below any heavy objects. For instance, say you're under the kitchen, the appliances above you, the refrigerator, fireplace, the chimney, again, that could collapse as well. Let's go back to our first alert live Doppler radar. I want to update you on our storms coming through. Again, now, oh, that's not a good sign. That's not good at all. Again, indicating a possible tornado. We've got this, again, this signature on the back side here, and we've got the signature here with the radar. This is the next red Doppler radar indicating that rotation. So it's getting closer to the radar. It's getting a little bit more verification. This is along Highway 72 and just off to the northwest. So I'm going to go ahead and send us home here and reset the view. So again, that was probably a flash flood warning, by the way, that came out on the NOAA weather radio. We're going to see a lot of those as we go through time. The storm over here southeast of Florence, we're still watching that, but it's looking better. I think the one that's going to give us the most trouble is the one we have now with the tornado warning for it. Heavy rain coming in from the south. May eventually, if it runs into this, that would be the best thing possible. But as we get down here, Ardmore, very heavy rain. If you're on Highway 65 coming south in from Tennessee, I would stop in Elkton, or at least stop at the rest stop area, because the storm is going to be crossing I-65 in about 15 to 20 minutes. And as it continues to move east, we continue to see indications of a possible tornado here. Let me turn these off here so we can get a better view. And I'm going to switch over to the next red Doppler radar and take a look at velocity. Yeah, we've definitely got a full-blown mesocyclone in this storm. It's rotating. So if it was daylight, you'd definitely see rotation at the back of the storm. What we don't know is if there is an actual tornado on the ground. But the debris signature, still a bit noisy here as it comes in. So there's probably a lot of dust within this storm as well. It's been fairly, well, I guess it hadn't been dry in the last few days, but I could see some of that picking up within this. But switch back to our live radar. See, again, this is the classic look here as we get in. Again, this is from farther away. We're going to switch to our live radar in just a few minutes. Okay, if you're in Coxsey, it's all clear now. This is going to be on the east side of Harris Road, about ready to hit State Highway 99 and West Elm Street. The south side of Athens, your winds are going to pick up out of the south. That's another thing to keep in mind. I'm going to switch back to our live radar here. A lot of lightning coming out of this storm. One thing that we don't often talk about is the fact that if there's a tornado here, the winds into this tornado coming out of the south along Highway 72, these could be around 80 miles per hour feeding into this storm. And then on the back edge, you get the tornado circulation. So don't just focus on where the possible tornado is here. This is moving into Athens right now. Again, it's really straddling Highway 72. It's between there and Highway 99. Let's get in closer. We got New Cut Road and Blackburn Road, and it's in those areas right now where it's the most imminent threat right now. New Cut Road. Okay. So again, as far as people monitoring on Facebook, they're going to restart the stream here because apparently it's shut down. So New Cut Road, Blackburn Road, this is where our tornado is. It's going to be right along, and getting closer here, we've got Bill Black Road, Tillman Mill Road. If these are anywhere near where you live, from there to Highway 72, you got Sewell Road all the way down to Highway 72. Be seeking shelter for a possible tornado. You get south of Highway 72, and it's just windy. The wind's increasing coming in from Tanner. There's large hail here as you get northwest of Athens, from Elkmont to the south as well. This continues to move to the east. Let's expand the view here. I'm going to go ahead and come over here and see if I can restart it as well. Get a few things going on here. So we have that supercell storm that's basically in Limestone County, the possibility of damaging winds and large hail with this storm. Yeah. Let me start that there. So I'll go ahead and let you take over here. All right. So again, they're restarting the stream here on Facebook and for the rest of our streaming devices here. But this is the storm we're most concerned with. Starting to see kind of bowing trend here within this near Elkmont, so towards Ardmore. And even though the tornado-warned part of the storm is mainly to the south of you, right now approaching Highway 99, you could have some damaging winds here from Elkmont to the east as well. So that's something we'll monitor. But as far as the storm track goes, let me go ahead and zoom back out here and get us to where we're going to put another storm track on this storm, taking it into Madison County over time. So this is moving east at 50 miles per hour. Let's speed it up to about 52. And it's actually tracking a little northeast of what the track is. So we compare that. This puts it in Athens at 7:44. That's 3 minutes from now. So again, that'll be the west side of Athens as it's approaching now. Harvest just before 8 o'clock. Meridianville down the road at 8:09, and Meadow Hills around 8:10. This will be out towards the University of Alabama A&M campus. And again, that'll arrive around 10 minutes or so after 8 o'clock with that supercell storm there. South Huntsville, Madison, this is going to pass to your north. It's moving right through Harvest, though. Again, right around 8 o'clock, Harvest and Monrovia. Let's get in here to this storm. Again, tornado warning extended, and we continue to watch a possible tornado here. We haven't had any confirmation yet of a tornado with this storm. There's probably some wind damage that hasn't been reported yet within this storm, and it's just to the west of Athens. And as we take a look at the velocity here from high top, get the latest view, it continues to show a storm that's capable of producing a tornado. Shear rate's probably maxing out right now, but I think it's a little removed from where the actual part of that circulation is. Let's expand the view here. So again, this tornado warning goes right up to the Madison County line. A lot of lightning picking up across the Huntsville metro area. So they have not continued it off to the, they did rearrange the warning though. You notice it's now oriented to the northeast instead of due east. So that kind of puts more in line here on the southeast side of Ardmore, right up towards the state line. But I think it's going to be more on track for Harvest and eventually the west side of Hazel Green. With a possible, again, I want to stress possible tornado. It's kind of gone back and forth on the way it's looked on the radar presentation. You just want to, okay, it's, there we go. I routed it to production. So that's basically, again, I'm talking to one of our producers back here. So that should correct itself here soon. Yeah, that's correct. All right, there we go. Okay, so our Facebook stream is back. So again, apologies for that. Here's the latest not confirmed spotter report. Northwest of Rogersville, some tree limbs and a few shingles missing off of houses south of that. Again, this is not confirmed. Preliminary storm report, 4 miles northwest of Rogersville, 4-inch tree limbs and a few shingles missing off of houses. So, again, that was on the northern part of that circulation. So we haven't got any reports on the south side. So that was back. And you basically put a line here from Rogersville. So northwest of Rogersville, that puts that part of the storm most likely south of Elkmont. And that's where we have a lot of this purple showing up, which is most likely hail. So we've got really bad weather moving along I-65 right now. Again, if you're coming in on I-65, you're listening to us on one of our radio partners, you need to stop at the exit, the first exit, the park with the rocket there on the right side of the road. You need to be stopping there. And if you're moving north here, you need to stop on Highway 72, at Highway 72, that exit there in Athens. There's no need to go any farther north. Going to wait that out about 20 minutes. And this is moving east towards Harvest and Monrovia. The lightning intensity has gone down just a little bit within this storm. So let's take a look. What I want to look at again is the debris signature, see if that's changed a bit. Yeah, it's contaminated. It's a contaminated debris signature. Typically, when you see all this blue, it's debris up in the air, but I'm not sure I don't think that's the case here because it's awfully contaminated. There's just a big mesocyclone in here. So we've been focusing a lot on where the tornadic part of the storm is. However, maybe some damaging winds here as you get on the north side of Athens. This is going to be north of West Elm Street near Sewell Road. This is where the rotation in the storm is the strongest. So this is where the updraft is the most intense. And that is moving towards Piney Chapel and eventually out towards Elkmont. So I'd be seeking shelter in Elkmont too with this storm. The velocity it's not really spiking, so it's probably cycling through. And again, what these storms do when they get big enough, they'll cycle through. They'll rotate, they'll try to produce a tornado, and then there's some interaction going on in the atmosphere, and then it stops, and then it refires. So I think we have the strongest mesocyclone that we've had with this storm since it's developed. Not to say we may have already had a tornado, though, with this storm out there farther to the west. And the reason I say that is because as we look at the velocity, here's a better view here, it's this part of the storm to the north, between Elkmont and Athens, where you have the rotation going on, and that's what's keeping this thunderstorm going. It's going up, and then on the backside, you get the hail core that develops, and then you get the heavy rain that drops, and then what will happen over time is you'll get what's called this rear flank downdraft, and what that does is it sneaks down the backside of the storm, so you get the rain-cooled cold air coming down the backside, and then it interacts with that warm, muggy air to the north. So as of right now, there probably isn't a tornado on the ground with this storm yet, but the storm could be recycling. And there's another thing that may happen here over time, is remember, if you join us at 5 and 6 o'clock newscast, there was this big line of showers and storms to the north. And most likely by now, that rain-cooled air has sunk to the south towards Hazel Green and Harvest. And you see we're kind of losing, at least the next rad's losing that back edge, and it still shows up here. So once again, you can see the difference. Here's our live radar. That's just, let's see how far away that is. We're 5 miles to the southwest of this storm, so we're able to sample it fairly well as we look at it. And I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to loop this. Sometimes you can see things better when you loop the radar. All clear in Coxie, by the way. So what we're looking for is any rotation that actually shows up in the data itself. And there's not a clear-cut signature there, but it's definitely still concern for a possible tornado that may develop over time within this storm. The worst of this, as far as I'm going to stop this and keep it from looping all the time, as we go in here, it's right along Elkton Street and Elkton Road. The area of circulation is now crossing I-65 near Lindsay Lane. This is going to be probably 2 miles or so north of the Publix. About 4 miles north of roughly Publix, and that whole shopping area, the Buffalo Wild Wings. You got the Applebee's on the other side of the interstate. Again, that's all just to the north of there and tracking to the east with a lot of lightning. So this is going right towards Harvest. Let's see what this arrow here, I bet it's a TVS. Yeah, TVS, that stands for Tornado Vortex Signature. So it's, again, the radar, the NextRad algorithm's flagging the storm, saying it has a tornado vortex signature. Again, that's usually a precursor to a tornado touching down. So Harvest around 8:02, the current time, so about 12 minutes. This is going to be moving into the west side of Harvest and Monrovia. Meridianville 8:15, Hazel Green 8:15, Moores Mill 8:18, and Bellevue around 8:18. Again, I stress possible tornado here with this storm as it continues to track to the east and a bit northeast into Madison County. No warning extended into Madison County yet, but it's possible we'll get that if we continue to see what we're seeing here on the radar. So I'm going to expand the view out here. I'm going to go ahead and put this into motion. So I'll let that loop there. I'm going to get a quick drink of water. And Margot, if you got any updates and storm updates, I'm looking over here as well.
At this point, a lot of folks are sharing that they're asking about their specific area at this point. But there is a picture that I sent you that I want you to see from a viewer photo.
Okay.
That had a great view from Cortland in your Twitter.
Oh, okay. I haven't even opened Twitter. Let me do that. Okay, reports of an awning on top of a car with individual inside, no injuries and power lines down. This is in the Nelson Road area in Elkmont. So again, this is with that storm. It's got the tornado warning on it. North of new tornado warning. Tornado warning continues for Limestone County until 8 o'clock. So 10 more minutes on this. Possible tornado was located near Ardmore or 9 miles northeast of Athens, moving east at 50. So they've got this near Ardmore. But, well, again, we're going to take a closer look at this in just a second here. Okay, we got reports. Sheriff's Office reporting power poles and lines down in Lauderdale County. No actual area. Again, Nelson Road. Again,
might be sending out some information on power outages in the Florence area as well.
Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, definitely ominous clouds. Again, it all depends on the way you're looking at these storms, especially at night. The lightning is going to illuminate the back edge of these storms. But right now, we're mainly just concerned with these two thunderstorms, one in Fayetteville, new severe thunderstorm warning issue there, and the second one, I'm not sure why they said possible tornado near Ardmore, because as we go to the high top velocity, that's really not the area it is. So again, when that warning comes out in the Weather Service, the voice of the Weather Service, as we get closer to the radar over in Jackson County, we're not seeing as much organization with this storm. And as we switch over to our live radar, it's not showing that classic hook, echo, or appendage, but definitely this is a severe thunderstorm moving in. We've had reports of damage with this storm. We're likely going to get some power outages. And if you're up here at the rest stop in near Ardmore, give this another 15 minutes to pass to your south. But be aware if you're driving in these areas, and this is any area that's where this storm is, it's possible there's power lines down. Always treat those power lines as if they are still live wires. Don't try to guess whether it's a cable line or a power line, because chances are there could be power outages out there as well. As we get in closer, what we're watching is the storm now, the worst of the storm moving east of I-65. This is going to be moving along Bain Road, just to the west of Alabama Highway 251. This is, the overpass that goes over I-65 on the northeast side of Athens. If you are in Athens, if you're west of State Highway 99, the storm has cleared your area. If you're south of downtown, let's call it East Pryor Street to the south, just watch out for some strong gusty winds. The tornado threat's over for you. And along Highway 72, maybe you're trying to get home from work, listening to us on the radio. What we've got on Highway 72, let's just talk Athens right now, out to the west towards Coxey. It's kind of clear in those areas, but you're going to run into more rain and more thunderstorms in Rogersville. And there's another hot thunderstorm cell coming out of Cortland, southeast of Cortland, moving northeast, and that's going to be on the southeast side of Athens here over time. But right now, I don't see a tornado threat with that. I don't see a tornado threat with any of the storms, with the exception of the storm that is now in Limestone County as we speak. And this may be the last one, hopefully the last warning we see for the night. If they continue on this warning, it'll be for northern Madison County. I believe what I'm seeing on the high top NextRad here is, as we get another vantage point here, it's not showing the classic sign there, but still a lot of noise in there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're probably going to continue a severe thunderstorm warning, at least for this storm as it moves to the east. And overall shear, it's not as impressive as it was earlier. And again, we're really close to our live radar here, getting a really good vantage point here. You can see that. Again, in the background, you can hear meteorologist Brandon Spinner getting his mic on. He was probably just out in the weather. What was the weather like on your way in? A lot of lightning out there?
Lightning was intense for the first part of the drive, but that's really started to taper off a bit. Some stronger winds out ahead of this storm for sure. I hadn't seen rain yet coming from the Harvest Monrovia area, but I could definitely feel the winds driving to the south and east on 53.
You're on camera now, by the way.
Good evening. Yeah, so these storms, as I was driving through, just a lot of flashes of lightning, just trying to get my wits about me. I was woken up, probably you as well, maybe, by the EAS system on your phone. streaming coverage. I was listening in on Mix 96.9 on the ride in as well. So as Brad has been talking about the entire time, a lot of lightning with this storm, and mainly in the northern parts of Madison as well as Limestone County as this is coming through. I was watching the storms. I did head to bed here because I was hoping to make it through to the morning. But so far, what I've been watching as I was listening and waking up was that system and how it's riding towards the north and northern parts of Limestone County. So if you are in that Harvest Monrovia area, that's the area that you're going to need to that
was our news
director, Julie. That's going to be the area that you need to be alert with right now, mainly north of Highway 72, and really I'd say north of Capshaw Road, as that is heading towards the north and east. This looks like it's going to be just west of Harvest.
Yeah, it's storms moving just west of Harvest. They haven't continued the warning yet. They're probably typing up a warning. I've got IEM chat or NWS chat over there. Let me know if what they're going to put. Probably going to be a severe thunderstorm warning. But as we take a look out here farther to the west into Mississippi, these are storms we'll have to watch as they come in from the west. But so far we don't have a big eruption, an outbreak of these severe thunderstorms to our west and southwest. So that's some good news there. But let's take it back home here and let's go into Madison County and up towards Fayetteville, where it's been a really busy late afternoon, early evening up here in Fayetteville, probably dealing with some flash flooding because I would say you got at least 2 inches of rain in those areas. Let's switch over to our live Doppler radar and get in closer. And this is some good news. We're starting to see everything kind of merge here as we kind of look at, I think that the boundary, let me go and draw this in. There's that boundary, that little outflow boundary.
They just issued a severe thunderstorm warning.
So we've gone to severe thunderstorm. We're going to stay here for a little bit longer. We'll take this up to at least 8 o'clock. And we'll take the coverage back to our online continuous coverage again. If you've got Fire Stick or Roku, you can find us there. Download that app. We'll be doing this streaming coverage there. Plus, we'll be on Facebook, and you can find us as well at WAFF.com and on our news and I believe our weather app as well, but definitely on the news app. So we've got this boundary that's dropping to the south, and this is slowly taking some of the air out, so to speak, of these thunderstorms here. And the farther south this goes, the better off. So let's go ahead and continue to look here at this storm in Harvest. Take a look at high top, the next red Doppler radar there.
Brad, that warning is for 3/4 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. They do use the wording tornado possible, obviously there with the that little bow or the little hook there just to the west of Harvest, and that is in effect till 8:30.
Okay, with the tornado possible tag, we're going to stay with this severe thunderstorm warning. So
I do have a timeline up on Max 2 if they want to pop that up behind you or just take it full. Harvest 8:02, that'll be heading towards you, so that's just on your doorstep, just towards your west. You can see Madison Crossroads 8:06, Hazel Green 8:10 if it continues on the current path. 50 miles per hour to the east-northeast. So this would be close to that Huntsville Executive Airport there over in Meridianville, right around 8:15 as well. So that's still about 15 minutes away. You're not technically in a tornado warning, but the severe thunderstorm warning has been issued and includes northern Madison County. So you may hear your weather radio be alerting you at this point in time. I just heard it into the studio behind us. So that's what this is for, is this severe thunderstorm warning again until 8:30. Including parts of Harvest Monrovia, just north of Huntsville. It'll include Meridianville as well as Hazel Green.
All right, yeah, that's a continuation, but it's coming into an environment perhaps a little less favorable to produce a tornado, but we'll see what happens once this once this area of rain to the south, once this area lifts to the north. So let's back this out a little bit to show you what we're talking about. We've got an area of strong winds. Let me get the right, there we go. And you notice how occasionally you'll get one of these areas of green in the reflectivity race to the north, another one coming in behind it. So until this, boy, there's a big lightning flash I just saw out of the corner of my eye. Here's what's going to happen over time. This area to the south where it's raining hard in Decatur and Hartselle, and another area, heavy rain coming in on the west side of Athens, that is going to interrupt the entire process this thunderstorm has been going through and the rotation. But it continues to be a fairly well-defined storm. It's got a strong updraft in it. It's got a little bit of rotation in it. And it's still throwing out quite a bit of lightning here. This on the west side of Harvest and Monrovia. And we continue to see, and there's that area right on the county line here. As we're getting closer, this is going to be Love Branch Road moving to the east into Harvest. So if this was if this was daytime out there, you would definitely see the low-level rotation. And it's probably borderline wall cloud on the back of this storm approaching Harvest and Monrovia. So you need to be staying away from your windows out here along Wall Triana Road, Harvest Road, Wall Triana Highway, I should say. Moving into Tony, very heavy rain, possibly some hail in this storm as well. Again, as expand the view out. This is going to be north of Douglas Road and Pettis Road. We've got Douglas Road. You got Seven Oaks subdivision over here. And again, this continues to move to it's going to be north of that location, well north, probably passing by about 3 miles. As we get here towards Anderson Hills as well, it's going to be a close call there. But again, I mentioned Anderson. I want to alarm anyone. I don't think we have a tornado with this storm now. I'm just giving you a location there for this storm. Bob Wade Lane is going to be north of there. And as you get down Pulaski Pike, it kind of makes that left turn towards Highway 53. And really rough go all along Highway 53 with the intense lightning, the rainfall, and perhaps some hail thrown in there too. One thing I'm noticing is more of a southeast movement here. It was moving northeast, and then it's starting to take this kind of right turn, jog into the south. So while that trend is different, we're going to have to watch when storms turn to the right like this. It's all about timing. They can actually increase the rotation as they're turning to the right due to that Coriolis force. I believe that's the main culprit behind that. So again, storms turning to the right, we always have to watch them closely, especially when it correlates with an increase in the lightning. So we go from roughly 7 strikes of lightning, 6 there, to 17 here in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Something to watch. And again, this doesn't show me that it's producing a tornado right now. But again, severe thunderstorm warning, possible tornado could develop with that storm. Let's expand out here and talk a little bit more about areas farther to the west. As we take a look west of the shoals, this boundary continues to drop southeast, and I'll draw it in here. It's basically situated right where that storm is. I do have the pencil. And it's continued to move off to the east. So you can see just a little part of that boundary there from Florence to Russellville. Very heavy rain setting up here. So we're starting to increase that flash flooding threat here from Russellville through Muscle Shoals. So you're likely dealing with street flooding. And Brandon's got that camera going here on Max 1 with Huntsville Alpha Cam.
Yeah, that's from the Rocket Center.
Okay, there we go. You're just kind of looking around.
That's just to the northeast of the Rocket Center looking. You see on the left side of the picture, that's the Top Golf. So just to keep an eye on the direction that it's pointing off towards the Meridianville area.
Yeah, we want to keep an eye on the power flashes to see if we have that lowering of the clouds out there, which we'll often get. The lightning's pretty much dancing around out there. So again, we're looking straight out towards Harvest and Monrovia, Capshaw Mountain area, and Brandon mentioned Top Golf kind of down there. You can kind of see the poles from that. So we're looking off to the northwest. So this warning does not include the city of Huntsville. I know the city of Huntsville kind of expands, and as you get out into parts of Limestone County, there may be some annexed areas, but boy, just tremendous lightning there going on. All clear in Athens from any threat for severe weather for right now. The tornado watch continues until midnight. And we do have very heavy rain that continues in Athens, just to the south towards Tanner, over there in Coxie, very heavy rain going on there as well. But temperature's still warm out there, so we're not quite what we would call rain cooled out there. It's night, and it's 68 degrees. Had a high today of 75 in the Shoals, 70 degrees in Huntsville. As you look off, again, you're looking at the lowering of the clouds there on the northwest side of Huntsville. We can go back to First Alert Live Doppler radar, and what we'll see there, again, these areas of storms, a lot of lightning with this storm, but we're kind of focused out west. As you go west of Russellville, we'll have to keep an eye on that storm, and that's what we're going to do over the next few minutes. So let's go to Margot Gray, who has some more information on the storms tonight.
I'm glad you just covered that lightning, because we are getting in a lot of pictures from our viewers on the lightning show that is happening out there at this point. You did say, Brad, that Athens is good to go?
Yeah, for right now, for the storm that moved through earlier, that is now northeast of you.
Got Got it. Okay, so I just want to deliver this information to you really quickly. This is coming from Limestone County EMA. There are reports of power poles down in that area on Nielsen Road, north of Section Line Road. An awning is also blown onto a car in that area, but here's the good news. No injuries have been reported at this time, so that's great news on that front. I've also seen reports of rain, hail even, and lightning all along Pulaski Pike. According to a viewer here,
That's going on right now.
extremely heavy rain. So we also have this picture. This is from a viewer from Cortland area looking toward Rogersville. Brad,
Yeah.
what do you see here?
Well, it looks like a wall cloud, but it could also be a gust front. It depends on the angle. If you're looking straight down the shelf cloud, it's hard to see with just a single image there. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was a wall cloud, because that's definitely, you get north of Cortland, that's where that storm was rotating. What we're seeing now on radar, we're starting to see a real concern for flash flooding. Look how this is coming in just like a fire hose. All this red, very heavy rain, and it's moving across the same area. And the boundary that's coming south is stalling, and the southernmost part of the boundary is lifting to the north. So at some point in time, the boundaries are going to stop moving, and you're going to get basically like railroad tracks here, and the rain's going to follow the same path, and it's called training, and it leads to significant flash flooding. So keep that in mind. In the rural areas here in northern Limestone County, be very, very careful if you have to head out later this evening. We do have some debris out there already. But the worst of this for you could actually turn out to be flash flooding tonight, as this shows no real sign of letting up. We're looking at our live Doppler radar, and here's that very heavy rain that Margaret was mentioning, just southeast of Ardmore, about 2 miles southeast of Ardmore, down to Harvest, and that's going to take you on Highway 72 there towards the Publix, and you've got the McDonald's there, right on Highway 72, where they kind of changed the road due to construction the last few years there. That's where the intense lightning is right now, moving into Tony, and this is on the way to Hazel Green. So Hazel Green, get ready. We don't have a tornado right now with this storm. Let's check.
I think you're going to get some hail. We're starting to see some contamination in the CC data.
A lot of hail reports coming in over here, also on the County Line Road area of Madison.
Oh, that'd be the north side of Madison, most likely.
It looks like Madison Crossroads is probably right where the heaviest hail core is at right now.
There it is right there. So the hail core is increasing. Let's take a look.
That line's right in line with the lightning, too.
Sure does. Boy, that is just a nasty storm out there. So, again, this is 1.25 inches in diameter above the ground. Some of that's going to melt.
Reports of dime-sized hail near Ready Section Road and Highway 53 about 4 minutes ago. 2 minutes ago.
So this is the hail right here. Over Tony, Harvest, you said dime size? Probably going to be closer to nickel size down the road here. That lightning just keeps increasing within the storm. So let's put a storm track just on the hail here. I'm going to have to expand my view out a little bit, take it farther to the right here. This storm moving east and a bit northeast, so it's basically kind of stuck moving east-northeast, and it's going to be close to Huntland here over time. But there's that storm, Hazel Green 814. There still is time to get the car in the garage, things like that. There's a lot of lightning, so be very careful. Meridianville 815, Moores Mill 818, Newmarket 823, Huntland up into Middle Tennessee, southern Middle Tennessee 836. Again, this is the hail core within this storm. There's a little bit of hail back here west of Athens too. Let's see what we've got back farther to the west. So right now, those are the strongest storms. You can see that by the hail core going on. Let's see the hail swath here. Again, this is the track of hail with this storm over time. So it's very consistent, and it's possible we had some hail that wasn't reported near Anderson and Rogersville, and you got a thunderstorm there right now. It looks like a lot of lightning going on the back edge. So again, the lightning will intensify the rainfall rate too, and you get storms moving across the same area, and it's a huge concern for flash flooding. And this lines up all the way back to Russellville. So all this rain is going to continue. So it is going to be a rough night as far as rain goes for these areas. Here we're talking southeastern Lauderdale County, central and northern Limestone County, northern Madison County, southern, and really all of Lincoln County. And you get up here into southern Middle Tennessee, and the terrain changes dramatically, and there's a lot more hills, there's a lot more of those low water bridges, crossings. Those are going to flood with this weather coming in tonight. Just keep that in mind. You've already had about 2 inches of rain up there in the Fayetteville area. Let's switch back here to the storm in northern Madison County, producing prolific lightning and large hail, and it all continues to move to the east and northeast. I don't see any tornado circulation with this storm, but it's definitely concerning as far as the hail goes that's going on within this storm. The shear rate's probably fairly low. Yeah, there's not much going on with that. So let's switch back to our live radar. And there's no real appendage on the back end. This is a hailstorm primarily. But the thing about hail, the reason we study hail more, we're concerned with hail, especially when it gets into quarter diameter size hail, is because it takes a tremendous updraft within that storm to produce that large hail. And we know as the stronger the winds are going up, it could be just as strong going down. So that's where you get the damaging wind threat from the storms as you get that motion within the storm itself. Very intense lightning here along with the large hail. Hazel green, stay away from your windows now. Not a good time to go outside. This is going to be along Nix Road, Grimwood Road, Murphy Hill Road, Charity Lane, south of there, Bobo Section Road. Tremendous lightning. Again, be very, very aware of the lightning around you. Lightning can strike your house and you can be electrocuted inside of your house with the lightning in the area. So be very careful. Again, don't be taking showers, things like that. Stay away from your windows. We used to say stay off the phone, but most everyone has a cell phone now. So that
quarter-inch diameter hail in Tony?
Quarter-inch hail. So Tony has quarter-inch hail. So again, the hail size is increasing. Once you get to quarter-size hail, we talk damage to your roofs. You talk damage to your vehicles as well. Mainly just dents. But again, we're likely going to be seeing. What do you got?
I was just going to give you a little bit of a break here. You were just talking about flooding, Brad. I've got a loop on Max 2, or if you pop me up here, you can see, as Brad mentioned, that fire hose stretching from parts of Franklin County all the way into Limestone and then southern parts of Middle Tennessee. They have expired part of that severe thunderstorm warning out into Middle Tennessee. The reason why that storm was so concerning as we take a look at that hour loop is that had more of a right movement while a majority of the atmosphere was moving towards the north and east. So that's what helped spin that up a bit in the northern parts of Madison County. But as Brad mentioned, flash flooding is a concern. There's flash flood warnings through Middle Tennessee, and through noon tomorrow, we're under a flood watch again, as we're going to expect another 2 to 3 inches of rain in some spots. Here's a look at radar estimated rainfall. I took this all the way back to Monday at midnight. So this is going just about 48 hours, and some of these totals are impressive. These are radar estimates, so this is not necessarily ground truth, but just shows you what the estimated rainfall is for these areas. And as we are showing parts of Giles and Lincoln County, just west of Fayetteville, radar estimates more than 5 inches, and we're expecting even more rain here over the next couple of hours as this switches from a severe event to more of a flooding threat. So we'll have to watch that as well. Remember, it is Severe Weather Awareness Week. I talked about it earlier this morning. It only takes a foot of water to move a vehicle and 2 feet of moving water to take that wherever that water's moving. Margot.
You just brought up Lincoln County, and we are just getting information and at this point from Fayetteville City Police that they are having to close some streets at this hour. At this point, we know of Old Mulberry Road having to be closed, and then there's some minor flooding on Huntsville Highway. So Brad and Brandon just mentioned how much rain we're getting. I also want to point out a couple of other damage reports in the area as well. So we have Lauderdale County. A couple of trees and power lines down in that area, but outside of that, we're good to go in Lauderdale County. There are no reports of damage in Lawrence County and no storm damage in Morgan County. But again, some of the roads are having to get closed in Lincoln County at this point because of the amount of rainfall. I also want to show that lightning that Brad has been mentioning, that prolific lightning. Take a look at this video sent in to us by Sue Terrell, one of our viewers. This is in Hillsborough, along the Tennessee River across from Browns Ferry. Just look at this lightning, Brad. What are you seeing here?
That's just a tremendous amount of lightning going on within this storm. I'm not sure your mic is going out on the stream, by the way. I just wanted to make sure they're aware of that in the back. Getting reports, the power is out in the Tony area. Again, your power is going to be out probably due to lightning in some of these cases here. So another thing to consider. Also, Butter and Egg Road area, that's going to be up towards Hazel Green, getting a report of lightning out and lightning perhaps putting the power out there as well. A lot of questions I'm looking at, people discussing, are we in the clear, are we in the clear? Well, one of the things when we get into this type of continuous coverage is if we're not necessarily talking about your area right at the moment, it doesn't mean you're all clear, so to speak. It just means we're focusing our attention elsewhere where the more intense weather is happening. Nobody's all clear per se yet. However, we are starting to see what looks like this transitioning into a high-end flood threat here, especially as we were mentioning up towards Fayetteville, northern Madison County, and especially central and northern Limestone County with the heavy rain still coming in from the west. So a lot of lightning. I'm looking at some of your questions here on Facebook as well. But again, Margot's mic going out on television, but not necessarily on the Facebook Live. We could probably route that up in the weather office back there if we know what mic she is on. All right. Okay. What about Moulton? Are we good the rest of the night? Let's see. Golf ball size hail in Hazel Green off of West Limestone. So again, these are unfiltered reports coming in on my Facebook Live. I think that's probably pretty accurate there. Again, golf ball size hail potentially there on the west side of Hazel Green. So I'm going to get in here. We're going to storm track here. I'm going to expand the view out because, again, we focus a lot of time in the metro area, but we have a lot more rain out there. As of right now, though, we don't have any other severe weather that's developing out here to the west. So let's switch over to the NEXRAD Doppler radar here out of Mississippi. And as we continue to move over here, we're going to have to watch, see these other little thunderstorms out here. The storms that have plenty of space between them, you see the difference here. This storm up here, it's still stout storm with large hail in Hazel Green. But it's got a lot of rain on the south side, and that's going to interrupt the tornado risk here as we go through time. But you get a storm, for instance, like the one here just to the west of Fayette, south of Guin. It can feed off of this unstable air that's to the south of it, and that can intensify that storm. So we'll have to watch that. But clearly, the highest threat we have now, outside of the hail and damaging wind potential, is going to be the flash flooding threat, because this is going to continue to develop over here in Mississippi and slowly move to the north. And this won't be over with until probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning as far as the rain goes. The severe threat should wind down sooner than that. In fact, for some of you, it is beginning to wind down. But again, for some of those questions, particularly someone asking about Moulton, you've got a break in the rain right now, but there's more rain coming, and we'll have to watch this storm west of Russellville. So let's get in here just west of Russellville. Right now, Red Bay, very heavy rain. No significant lightning going on with this storm right now. We'll stop this and take a look at the velocity, looking at it from the south. Storm relative velocity, again, that takes the motion of the storm into account. And there's no rotation developing in around Red Bay right now. But it's a storm like this. You see this little V shape here? The air above this storm is forcing it. It's forcing it to rise and separate. And that's why the intense rainfall will continue here. And this just continues to feed. This is the back edge of this river of air coming into the area from the southwest. So I'm going to reset the view here, go to our live radar, and turn the loop off. Kind of reset everything here, and we'll get back up into northern Madison County. So this is the only severe thunderstorm warning we have right now. It's getting closer to the NEXRAD Doppler radar, so we're going to get a little bit more reliable information farther, closer to the ground, so to speak, with this storm. But again, very heavy rain from northern Madison County and up into northern Limestone County, back here to the west. So once again, focusing in on this storm, moving into Hazel Green, just north of Meridianville. We've confirmed large hail with this storm, an intense amount of lightning as well. So as we take a look at velocity here, oh, there it is right there. Look at this is, when I say that, the concern is hail. This is a mesocyclone. It's in the middle part of the storm. So this is what's rotating and producing the large hail. The concern is there's a lot of wind shear out there too, so we'll have to watch on the back side of this storm.
You just got a picture on Twitter from Cameron. It looks to be about dime to penny size hail.
Okay.
Hard to determine. Weather Service reporting the gumball size hail in Hazel Green. That's a new one. They Googled that, said standard gumball size is about an inch. I think we're just under that, but
Yeah, it's best to give hail size in coins because all coins are pretty much the same. You get penny, nickel, dime, quarter, $half.
yeah, a lot of time people try to say marble size hail, but there's also different size marbles. So that's why coins is generally where we go with. There's
Got another alert.
tornado warning.
Tornado warning. They've issued the tornado warning based on this signature here. So this is right in Hazel Green, along Walker Lane, moving towards Narrow Lane. Again, Steger, Walker Lane's one of those, it goes basically from east to west to east as you go east of 231, but then it kind of snakes up to the north. Again, this, if you're on Walker Lane, these areas here, but once again, I do want to stress, no need to panic. There's a lot of lightning. You're probably having power outages here as well to deal with, in addition to the large hail. But as we put the radar here over this, here's what's happening. First off, you get this mesocyclone in the middle of the storm, and I mentioned this earlier. You have the large hail. Might even be seeing some fog out there, hail fog. If the hail gets intense enough and accumulates out there, and you start getting hail fog. But the point of this is when that hail starts to fall, it's really cold. It cools the atmosphere. So you've got the large hail area, and that's in Hazel Green right now. But then as that cold air goes out of the storm, you get a rear flank downdraft that develops. That cold air has somewhere to go, and it's going to go to the south here, and it interacts with this warm, moist air and that strong wind coming through Moore's Mill right now. So that would be the area of concern for a possible tornado. It's going to be the Steger Road area up Walker Lane, over towards Butler Road, Macon Lane, and then this is just on the north side of Moore's Mill, and this coincides with the hail part of the storm. The hail shaft is going to be right over Hazel Green, so probably looking at hail damage in the city of Hazel Green right now, the tornado threat just on the south side of Hazel Green between there and Meridianville. Let's get another look here at the hail, get an indication. Yeah, continue to see this large hail. Doppler red, probably looking at another perhaps up to quarter size. We got 1 inch hail there. So as far as the hail size, it's going down just a bit in some areas, but still a possibility of some damaging hail within this storm in Hazel Green, in addition to that possible tornado. So let's take a look at our live radar here.
They have slowed the speed down to 30 miles per hour from the original 50 as it was going into Madison County.
Yeah, it's kind of running into this. Again, you're not going to be able to see this at all. It may illuminate. What you're going to be looking for is going to be the power flash potential. Power flashes, if you see like blue flashes, those are going to be transformers blowing, and they're going to be loud. There's no mistaking the power flash from that to a lightning strike. Of course, unless you're really close to the lightning strike. So again, there's a danger of lightning striking homes here, knocking out power stations, substations, so you may lose power to that. Now, even if you lose power, it doesn't mean a tornado is imminent. I want to let you know that. But again, this is why we say have multiple ways to receive warnings and information. If you're joining us on satellite, chances are your satellite's out because this rain, you can't get a satellite signal through it. So cable providers, again, you're streaming those, I mean, they all have a tendency to fail. Even no weather radio can fail. So have more than one way, and another one of those ways is our 48 First Alert weather app. So again, you can find us on our streaming. If you've got Fire Stick, you got Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, those devices, you go through and you get your Netflix and Hulu and Yahoo and all that stuff. We're right in there with all of them. If you search for WAFF 48, you'll find us, and the logo will say on your side, and you'll be able to have continuous coverage there as well. But what we're tracking, I just want to reiterate here, we've got a tornado warning that includes the Newmarket area now, and the tornado sirens likely sounding, but this is an event where it's going to be hard to hear the sirens. Number one, you've got heavy rain out there. Two, you've got a lot of lightning out there. So again, that's what makes it an outdoor warning siren, because if you're indoors, you probably can't hear it, especially if you've got a tin roof. This is just a terrible storm, a lot of noise for that. So as we take a look here at the velocity again, I'm going to switch over to the high top next rad.
While you're doing that, I do want to point out several clusters of power outages in the Madison County area. We have it off of McKee Road as well as Wall Triana Highway. And then there's another cluster right along the Grimwood Road area. So a lot of power outages at this point that Huntsville Utilities is having to deal with.
Yeah, and these are all areas within this polygon, so to speak, the warned area. So again, Newmarket starting to see an increase in the wind here.
I do have a timeline up for that on Max 2 if you want to see it.
All right, let's go ahead and go to Max 2 of the storm track. What we're dealing with is the boundary is dropping southeast, and there's an interaction along that boundary as well. So this takes this over towards Gravity Chapel, Bethany Church, and the Cedar Grove Church area. And this is moving into extreme northeastern Madison County, and Mountain Fork Church, again, 843 with that storm there. So large hail, damaging winds, and even damaging lightning continues with this storm. Power outage can be expected. Here's where you want to make sure your cell phone is charged, your batteries, you have your flashlight, you know where that is. And again, if you have some damage, maybe know where your shoes are. Get your shoes on, things like that if you're going to be walking around. Because a dangerous storm nonetheless with a lot of lightning out there. Let's go back over to radar 1. What we're watching here moving into the Newmarket area is a lot of wind. The wind really picking up here, because we've got this boundary, pardon me. So the circulation is out to the west, but there's an interaction going on here within this storm as this area moves to the southeast. So let's get in here to Newmarket. Again, we're getting closer to the radar. So as we get, this is right along Winchester Road. This is going to be, looks like it's northeast a few miles of Buckhorn High School. So let's pixel query this, because these are some really strong winds along Winchester Road. We're looking at 50, maybe even 65 miles per hour or so in this area. So it looks like this could be, switch over to the radar. The lightning just continues to intensify. So what's likely happening, I got to get rid of those, is this might actually be sampled wrong by the next rad. So it might actually be wind that's coming in, feeding this storm. This could be inflow into this storm, and it could be stronger than 60 miles per hour. So we could very well have 70 mile per hour winds moving into Newmarket right now on the south side, and then the possible tornado is over here on the west side. So let's get in closer. Again, we're Maysville Road and Winchester Road. Get a huge blow up of development in this part of Huntsville and northeast Madison County, in case you were unaware. If you've been driving out in these areas, house after house continues to be built out here. So this is a highly populated area now. As we get towards Beth Road and Butler Road, a very intense lightning and a possible tornado developing within this storm. There's large hail in Newmarket, so you need to be seeking shelter. This is near Davis Road and Hurricane Road. You get down to Ray Road, and right now the worst of this, at least as far as the tornado potential, is going to be from Beth Road to Butler Road down Winchester Road. Let me expand this view here. Since there's a lot of, it's going to be north, just north of the Madison County fishing lake out there. And that's, again, that's just northeast here of Buckhorn High School. You get Moore's Mill, Meridianville now, it's just to your north, but the winds are probably picking up. Again, we probably have 60 to 70 mile an hour inflow into this storm, into Newmarket. So either way, the potential for damage is there with this storm, whether it's going to be straight line winds feeding into this storm or possible tornado developing on the back side of this storm. So let's take a look at the velocity again. Yeah, it's starting to flare back up here right over Newmarket. The lightning is just to the north. So we've got possible tornado again developing. It'll be wrapped in rain in around Newmarket Bethel Road, Hurricane Road, so seek shelter. Stay away from your windows. If you got a lot of trees around your house, be aware of that. You want to be in the centermost part of your home, in a small room, a closet. The smaller room actually holds more weight if it's a tree falling on your house than say a large room, and that's just the engineering aspect of it and the building aspect of it as well. So lightning really picking up. We're seeing this, what we call lightning jump. So that's always concerning when you see a lightning jump on the radar. And here comes the high wind now. The highest wind is now probably just northeast of Hurricane Road with possible tornado. Again, we're close enough to this radar that if we did have a tornado, we'd probably see some tight circulation here at this vantage point. But so far, we see a lot of straight line wind potential. But don't want to get lost in that tornado threat because straight line winds can do damage equivalent of an EF0, EF1 type tornado. So keep that in mind. And again, we don't have any tight circulation, but it's in a position to where it is potentially could produce a tornado with little or no warning, but we do have the warning out there. I'm going to expand the view out, take another look at other storms in the area, switch back to our live radar. And as we continue on, going to have to watch area west of Athens, most likely just heavy rain. Lightning's down just a bit. Most of the lightning's coming from the storm in Newmarket. As you go from High Top to the south to Scottsboro, not much going on there, just some heavy rain. But again, it's this area in Newmarket producing significant lightning, and this is going to continue to move across extreme northern Jackson County and up into Franklin County near Huntland, probably just south of Huntland, Tennessee. Take a look at the hail again. And what we're watching here is still a possibility of some large hail. So large hail, some power outages, lightning strikes. You could have fires due to lightning striking homes because that lightning strikes your attic. The fire starts in the attic. So just, again, things to consider here when we're tracking this severe thunderstorm. All clear from this storm in Hazel Green, by the way. This storm's east of you. I know it's pretty intense still in Hazel Green with the very heavy rain, but the circulation we've been watching and monitoring is now well east of you towards Newmarket. I'm sure there's a lot of questions being asked about when's it going to hit Scottsboro, when's it going to hit Huntsville. Right now, there's no guarantee everyone's going to get severe weather tonight. Right now, we're down to one small thunderstorm it's pretty mighty out there, though, in northern Madison County, tracking to the northeast. Elsewhere, there are no additional severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's take a look here. GWX, looking down to the south, Tuscaloosa, okay, they're under a tornado watch, by the way. Severe thunderstorm warnings coming out here, and just one of them in Mississippi. But so far, so good. We don't have any, again, we don't have an outbreak of severe thunderstorms developing out there. But we have multiple rounds of heavy rain, and the potential will be there with some damaging winds, in addition to the strong gusty winds and hail. So let's take another look at our live radar. Let's get back in here to Newmarket. Boy, just a lot of lightning with that. It's all the energy is really focused in on this one storm here, and it's moving northeast of Meridian, all clear Meridianville, Huntsville, you're kind of all clear from this storm. You're not all clear for the night. There's still a tornado watch till midnight tonight, so something we'll have to continue to monitor as we go through the rest of the night. I want to take another look here at the velocity. And it's kind of lost its what we call the tornado signature. It's kind of lost that. But it's definitely producing a lot of lightning out there. Again, most of the damage from this storm is probably going to come from lightning strikes because there's a ton of them. 44 lightning strikes just in the last, let's see if I can move that, just in the last 15 minutes. Pounding lightning here. This is the most lightning we've had all season with one thunderstorm. This is a small thunderstorm too. So again, most of our reports are likely going to be lightning strikes here, at least over the next 10, 20 minutes with this storm, likely numerous power outages, and lightning just does a number on the electrical system in your home too.
The heaviest hail probably right just south of Plevna along Winchester Road.
Yep. So again, hail is another threat here.
They've canceled the warning for Madison County.
Okay, severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning has been canceled. So they're going to be canceling this. But again, there's a lot of lightning. The storm has lost its characteristics of producing damaging winds and producing a tornado, of course. But there's still a lot of lightning out here with this storm. So we're going to stay with this storm another 3 minutes, and then we're going to get back to a regularly scheduled program. And then we're going to take this coverage back to all our streaming and digital devices. Some of you may lose power. Again, here, some of you may have already lost power in northern Madison County, but we're going to take this back to the digital channel again in case you missed it earlier. You can find us on our weather app, our news app. You can find us on Roku. You can find us on a number of devices, Apple TV. You can find us on Fire Stick. Again, it's one of those apps, just the same thing like when you get Hulu or YouTube TV. It's the same, like little picture window. You click on that, and there's all sorts of extra coverage on there as well. So we've got radar going here. What we're dealing with is large hail, and notice how the only purple that shows up is in this northeast Madison County storm that is moving northeast and producing winds around 40 miles per hour. And just in that last scan there, the hail has dropped a bit. I expect the lightning to drop off some with this storm as well over time. Let's take a look at high top velocity. There's just a lot of down force with this storm. I'm going to take this back over time here. Again, we're looking at northeastern Madison County. Very heavy rain, significant lightning, and this is tracking across extreme northern Jackson County. It's going to pass north of High Top, so let's put a storm track on here. Again, we're just tracking this hail and significant lightning moving east and northeast, and it's slowed down a bit, around 40, say 42, 43 miles an hour. So that takes it, again, north of High Top, but still that back edge here, we'll have to watch. Get a little bit more. All right, let's go to Margot Gray with some new information. Margot?
So we have some new video in from our viewers who are sharing all of the pictures of the hail and the lightning and the heavy rain that's coming down. If we can take that video right now, pull that up really quickly. You could see it right there. A lot of lightning in the background and heavy, heavy rain coming down. You mentioned, Brad, that the hail was of concern at one point because it could eventually turn, that's a signature for something.
Yeah, usually the hail, the larger the hail, the stronger the wind gusts are going to be because it takes a strong wind into the storm to produce the large hail.
So this is the heavy rain that our viewer is reporting in Hazel Green right now. I do want to point out again that there is just several scattered power outages in that area, in and around that area. We have power outages off of Briar Fork Road to report, as well as West Limestone Road, and then Grimwood Road as well. So a lot of power outages to report in those areas, but it is in a cluster, so it's not widespread.
Right, a lot of these power outages are not due to wind. Initially over in Limestone County, it's the lightning. Check out that lightning. Again, that is in Hazel Green. You've got lightning, you've got hail.
That's also from Hazel Green from a viewer, Allison Earnhardt there, sharing that, or Everhart, I'm trying to see it on the screen here, who shared this video with us as well.
Yeah, I mean, those are significant cloud-to-ground strikes. Those are almost straight from the top of the anvil of the storm all the way down, probably what we would call a positive strike. So again, that one probably resonated quite a bit. A lot of acoustics out there tonight, too, with the high humidity. So you're going to hear this lightning, and you hear the thunder kind of rumbling for quite some time. As we go back to radar, still watching the storm here. There are no signs of tornado right now. We kind of got the wind chasing everything out. The lightning's kind of disconnected from that part of the storm.
It is starting to interact with some rain coming in out of the south, which I think is kind of trying to choke it off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got this boundary coming in on the south side as well. But still have to watch this area.
The RFD there from the original storm looks like it's starting to intensify in reflectivity.
Yeah, we're going to have to, again, we're going to stay with this now. Considering that we're watching the backside of this storm, we're going to watch this for at least 5 more minutes, maybe 10 more minutes. So again, we're going to get this till it's off across the state line up here into middle Tennessee. There's just a lot of lightning, and I'm sure there's a lot of concern out there as the storm's moving in. You may lose power. You may not know what's going on. And this is the kind of lightning you really don't want to mess with. This is a horrible lightning storm going on right now northeast of Newmarket, but all clear in Newmarket from a tornado threat. But we're looking at a live radar. And I do want to show you what Brandon was mentioning earlier. We got that downdraft going on. So we've got on the southern side of the storm, this is an area northwest of Princeton, and this is going to be right about 6 miles northwest of Princeton. Now, your threat there in Princeton is some strong gusty winds coming into the storm, but it's on the south side of the storm. We're going to have to watch it a little bit closer. Take a look at storm relative velocity. Yeah, it's this area here. It just continues to kind of flare up. And let's put that into motion. Again, the last thing we want to do is go off the air and immediately have to return on air with a tornado warning with this storm, because it does have a history of damage, whether it come from lightning, winds, or possible tornado. So here's the radar, and the wind is really strong. Let's take a closer look here. And this is going to be along Alabama Highway 65, moving towards Estill Fork. We're picking up some winds here at 60 miles per hour, so we at least I have a higher confidence of at least a severe thunderstorm here with this storm coming in. And there's just a little bit of circulation here that we'll have to monitor in this side of the storm, and that's northwest of Princeton. So Princeton right now, as I mentioned, mainly looking at strong winds coming in from the south. So let's take a look at the next red Doppler radar, see if this is seeing any of this as well. It's a little bit behind over here, so we switch to our live radar. And you see, it's still a little bit messy. So again, this is the hard part about trying to detect developing tornadoes in this higher terrain over here and this much rain. It's very heavy rain over here. So we're picking it up, again, the back edge of that storm. While we've got a slight break here, let's take another look out here to the west.
Here's a delayed report just coming in from the storm when it was in Muscle Shoals, 3/4 of an inch hail. So finally getting reports of that from down the road.
All right, storm intensifying here near Russellville, lightning picking back up. So you get back here to Russellville, going to track this to the east-northeast. Going to move it at about 45 miles per hour. I'll put that loop on there, and we'll see what that shows us with that storm. So this potentially could produce some damaging winds and large hail. This is moving towards Leeton around 8:49, and it's currently 8:41, so 8 minutes there. Old Bethel, 8:51. Town Creek, 8:57. Hatton around 9 o'clock. North Cortland around 9:03. Cortland, 9:05. Very similar spot there. The lightning's picking up with this storm. We'll have to watch it. The wind shear is still fairly high in this area, and this is taking more of an easterly track. And boy, it's just a horrible night out here in eastern Lauderdale County, northern Limestone County, with the heavy rain that just continues to move across the area. And what's left of the northern side of this Russellville storm, that is going to move through as well. So the thing about the Russellville storm that we really want to watch for is notice there's nothing down here south of it. So all this air coming in is undisturbed, so to speak. And the same thing for Phil Campbell. We'll have to watch this area west of Highway 43. I don't think it's imminent right now, and we'll just have to see what happens, because it's about to encounter, as it goes farther east towards Moulton and Cortland, it's going to run into some of that rain-cooled boundary. But for now, the storm near Russellville and south of Muscle Shoals, it's holding its own. And again, the problem is it's all moving back into the same areas that have already had heavy rain, power outages, and the significant lightning along with hail. And that's going to be up here into eastern Lauderdale County, central Limestone County, up into Fayetteville and Lincoln County, Tennessee, and northern Madison County. So Hartselle right now down to the south of you, southwest, some heavy rain going on. Nothing severe, but any more rain is pretty much insult to injury, so to speak. As we get back up here, again, we're using our live Doppler radar. Still watching this area here east of Newmarket, north of Princeton. And as I put that into motion again, what I'm looking for is to see if this red boundary here, if this in fact is dropping southeast, because we have that little notch north of Princeton. So that would be some kind of boundary. So let's switch radar sources again. Another view is kind of breaking up, but the same area we're trying to look at is right here. And then we switch over to velocity. Still showing some circulation there. Let's get in closer. This is north of Princeton. This is going to be Alabama Highway 65. Don't confuse this with Interstate 65, as we are west of Estill Fork now. And it's just kind of odd how this has been out ahead of this area of rain. The lightning is way down, so that's some good news. We're here at, it's 8:44 right now. The lightning is down. That's your first indicator that you're losing a lot of you're running into this rain-cooled air. So that's good news there. So we're starting to kind of spin this thing down. Just south of Huntland, still some very heavy rain. And this continues to move to the east. But I think what's happening, I don't think this is a rear flank downdraft coming out of the storm. I think it's just that boundary that's kind of laid out there. And that may be what it's run into, and that's why it's starting to weaken. Out here west, still looking at the shape of some of these storms here west of Athens. Very heavy rain in Ardmore. But the heaviest rain just to the northwest of Athens, just northeast of State Highway 99, moving towards Elkmont. Lightning picking up occasionally. Nothing severe in this area here. Rogersville, more rain, more heavy rain there, and in Coxsey. And as we continue to monitor the storm over here near Russellville, I'm going to switch radar sources and go to the next red Doppler radar. Take a look at
special weather statement out for that, for the potential of 55-mile-per-hour winds.
Okay, again, that's just below severe criteria. That begins at 58 miles per hour. So that's this Littleville storm. So we'll put that into motion, see what's going on there. Yeah, it actually had a little bit more energy coming into it earlier, and it's probably running into the rain-cooled air, at least slightly rain-cooled air disturbed there in southern Colbert County with this storm. Another look at velocity radar. Back to the west again, not much else really flaring up, so good news there. But this is just really bad news as far as rain goes. It's going to be a really wet night, and we've been talking about that's why we had first alert out today for the heavy rain that's coming in, and we'll continue to monitor this storm here. It looks like it's just to the near Rockwood, just to the southwest of the sheriff's office there in Franklin County as you get south of Russellville. So we'll continue to monitor that area. Let's go to Margot Gray with more video. Tonight's storms.
If I'm understanding this correctly, this is from Limestone County Road. Did I get that right? Okay, that's correct here. So we just continue to see a lot of lightning from the area. You have mentioned time and time again, Brad, that the lightning is of concern, the hail is of concern. I'm seeing also reports of pea-size hail. That was in that special weather statement that Brandon just brought up, from pea-size possible, from all covering the Littleville, Russellville, Spruce Pine area. That could be an issue out there. So this is, again, that hazel green lightning video that we have shown you from Allison Everhart of the storm there. And I just want to point out for just a second, just the buckets of rain that we have seen come down, the amount of rain. And I know this is my personal view, but a lot of gutters and sewers have been just full of fall leaves that have not been cleared. So hopefully this is not causing an issue. Flash flood warnings have been out. We know that this is a concern, and all week it will be a concern because this is just one more day of rain that we're getting, and this is heavy rain. So just keep that in mind as well. But we continue to ask for your videos, any damage. We know that there have been reports of trees down in Limestone County as well as down power lines on Nelson Road and Elkton Road. Please use extreme caution when it comes to this. I know I don't have to tell you guys to not even go near them. If you see them, please report them so folks know that these power lines are down. Call 911 to report them and never even approach them. I'll send it back to you guys.
Okay, I know Jackson County's been added to the tornado watch until midnight. Have they added any additional counties?
I haven't seen them, no.
Yeah, I think, again, they probably did that due to the proximity of that storm approaching from the west.
No, according to this, no. Still, Marshall and DeKalb are not included in that.
Okay. So no Marshall, no DeKalb, but Jackson. Again, it's always in and around the watch area. Again, that should say until midnight tonight.
I'm fixing it.
But again, yeah, that's where the watch is. But I don't think it's going to continue in all areas through midnight tonight because they put the watch out. The eastern counties, those are the areas they expect it to be around midnight. So again, notice how it kind of skips Marshall County and it gets a little confusing, but it's mainly for the northwest corner there of Jackson County. Want to get into Russellville again. The lightning's picking up there. So again, we're not going to get out of this programming until we're at least confident we're not going to have anything spin up on us short term. So as we get down here towards Russellville and Littleville, very heavy rain, significant lightning going on with that storm. And as we make sure we're on GWX here, there's the velocity, the storm relative velocity. Again, that storm's kind of breaking up just a bit, but still worth keeping an eye on. Again, this is moving into eastern Colbert County with very heavy rain and picking up lightning in that storm. Going to go back. Yeah, we got to keep an eye on this area here. Notice this area near Littleville.
Temps still 68 to 69 degrees out there.
Yeah, we got this little notch in here. So again, we're going to keep an eye on this Littleville area. The lightning is intensifying. There's a bit of a notch there with that storm. And let's see what the algorithm of the storm says. It says there's some shear in that storm. The BTI, that's the Barron Tornado Index, it's low. It's a scale of 1 to 10. But right now, this storm tracking northeast, Town Creek around 9:11, North Cortland 9:15, Killen 9:15, and Cortland again at 9:15. I've been mentioning some of these towns a lot tonight. It's just because the storms keep going over the same area. Here's this other area back here to the west. Basically same storm track. It says tornado vortex signature, but that's why us meteorologists are here to interpret the data. It's probably got a couple of pixels close together, but something we'll definitely watch here. Again, Old Bethel 909, Leeton 913, and Hatton around 920. So we'll get rid of this storm track here, and we'll back the view out. But this storm's shown more lightning here. Oh, it's got 20 strikes here in the last. Again, we're going to zoom in here because what this does is it picks up on this area. So this is going to show the number of lightning strikes in this particular area. And you see they're on the way up here with this storm moving into Leeton. Strong gusty winds here. Starting to maybe bow out just a little bit. Notice how the back edge here. So strong gusty winds from Littleville east of Russellville, and these are moving towards Old Bethel. And this is going to be out Highway 77 east of Littleville and continuing along Highway 57 in around Mountain Star and Tharptown. I think that's probably the strongest winds, 45, maybe 50 miles per hour. It's kind of removed from where the higher lightning strike count is off to the north into Colbert County. I'm going to summarize here as we kind of get the view out. There are no active warnings except flash flood warnings in our area at this time. The storm is really weakened that moved into northern Jackson County. We're still watching storms off to the south of Florence. A lot of heavy rain as we go into the evening hours. And the lightning strikes continue to be a threat here moving east. So this is very close to Leeton right now. You probably noticed the lightning really picking up in the area. Florence, you're all clear for right now, but I can't give anyone the all clear as far as the tornado watch goes until midnight tonight because there's still some storms out to the west, and there's still a lot of lightning with this storm to your south. So shear rate with this storm increasing just a little bit, but I think we're dealing more with some straight line wind potential with this storm here as it's moving towards Leeton, Town Creek, Old Bethel, and Cortland over here in Lawrence County. Coxie, more heavy rain there. Going to switch over to our live Doppler radar. We're going to wait for one more scan here and see if anything changes. See our live radar. See how it's doing with that same storm over here. We're going to have to stay with this, folks. This is the same thing the storm.
They just warned it.
They did?
Mm-hmm. Just
severe thunderstorm warning?
Severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour winds with 3/4-inch hail.
Yeah,
until 9:30.
This storm here, we're going to have to watch because you see this it's called a reflectivity gradient. This means the air is likely rising rapidly along the leading edge of this, and there's high wind here as well. So it's possible here as you go just to the west of Bethesda and Old Bethel, we're going to have to, and again, another kind of wave has moved through from the south. So this area is going to feed off this unstable air to the south. So this is the next storm that we're going to have to watch. It's severe right now, damaging wind potential, significant lightning. Again, this is moving towards Hatton and Cortland and will likely be on the north side of Moulton. We put an extended storm track from Leeton. Again, we're not tracking a tornado right now with this storm. What was the speed on that storm?
That's popping up, and they just issued a flash flood warning for which pretty much blankets the entire viewing area. Colbert, Franklin, Lauderdale, Lawrence, Limestone, Madison, Franklin, Lincoln, and Moore counties. That is until 12:45. The speed on that storm is 30 miles per hour towards the east.
Okay, I put it at 46, 47 miles an hour. I'll give you a bigger heads up. Again, we're using our live radar there, and anytime you start to see this kink in the line, over time, we're going to have to watch this for a possible formation of a tornado down the road. Again, I think we're at least 5-10 minutes away from probably seeing that. But the fact that I went to our live radar and was able to see that, let's go over here to Columbus Air Force Base. It's kind of the same area, but it doesn't show as tight of a gradient there, so to speak. And the storm relative velocity, see that area? It's just southeast of Littleville. It's just enough to say, hey, keep an eye on this. So I don't think there's a tornado here with this right now, but we're developing stronger winds inside this storm. We're developing more lightning within this storm. At least it is. And let's take a look at the hail here. The hail threat's probably going up. Yeah, see, the hail threat's going up with that storm. And this hail potential, probably smaller back towards Russellville, but you are included in this severe thunderstorm warning at the current time. But here's that storm track. Leeton, Town Creek, Hatton, North Cortland, all in the path of this storm, which could produce hail. It is producing significant lightning and very heavy rain as it tracks off to the east and northeast at anywhere from 35 to 45 miles per hour. It can vary with time. Let's go back to the velocity in this storm.
I think we're definitely seeing hail on correlation coefficient. We're seeing downstream scattering.
Okay.
So just a sign that as that beam is going through the hail, it's kind of contaminating data down the stream. Kind of another idea on where their hail is in the storm.
Yeah, Brandon, fresh off of his CBM award, by the way. He got his CBM, at least the test, right? Mm-hmm. That was probably one of the big questions there, too. But, yeah, as Brandon was mentioning, we're starting to see this hail core forming in the storm. The winds are increasing aloft here just west of Old Bethel. And as we take a look at the shear rate, that's starting to increase as well. Even though it's fairly weak, you just go from, it's getting on the stronger side of weak, we'll put it that way, in around Old Bethel. So prepare yourself for the possibility of damaging winds from Leeton down to Old Bethel and eventually from Hatton to Town Creek on Highway 101. We've mentioned that on occasion. It was farther north, though, along the Wheeler Dam there on the Tennessee River. That was with the previous storm. So let's go back to our live radar. It's still showing the same. It's got this kink. This looks a lot like the storm did that was west of Athens about an hour and a half ago. So as we go through time, we'll have to watch this coming into, say, perhaps Athens again. So on this track, it's going to move probably more towards Tanner and eventually perhaps Madison. So I'm going to put a storm track on this. I think it's picking up speed too. I'm going to go about 51 miles an hour. And if I can get over here and edit this, I don't know if it'll let me edit it or not. But I just want to extend that storm track out here for you guys. Take it over perhaps an hour or so. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to let me. So let's just take this out because everybody online wants to know when it's going to hit their house. So this is what we've got here as far as this storm track goes. I'll put that out there. So we're talking on this track, this strong to severe storm at times, a lot of lightning, hail. It's going to move through Cortland and Hatton and on the north side of Moulton and eventually towards Decatur and Tanner. So Decatur around 9:36, Tanner 9:30, and closer time frame, Cortland 9:18. So Decatur 9:36, Capshaw on the south side of the Harvest Monrovia area around 9:42, Greenbrier 9:42. So this would take it close to right along I-565 out towards the Huntsville International Airport. So the Madison, the Mill Creek area in Madison around 9:45. The west side of Madison, east side of Madison, I should say, around 9:47, Triana 9:53, and Meadow Hills around 9:56, and eventually, again, it's going to be, again, the Huntsville metro area keeps expanding, and now it's into Limestone County, so when we say a storm's coming into Huntsville, got to be a lot more specific now. This will be on the west side of Huntsville, probably around 9:40, so you get out towards East Limestone, those areas right there. Storm continues to show signs. We may get a tornado warning with this storm before it's all over with. So again, be thinking about where you need to seek shelter. This storm wrapping up near Old Bethel, moving towards Cortland and Hatton. Let's do another storm track here. Again, I'm going to track this area here near Old Bethel, moving east and northeast. We're going to put that at about 40 miles per hour. So based on Doppler radar, this is the place we would expect a tornado to form if we're going to get one. This takes it into Hatton around 9:08. Hatton here, of course, just south of Cortland, that's going to be about 9:15 or so. And then that track, again, you follow, let me go there here. So here's the most likely path right down the middle here. So again, this is going to be getting closer and closer to Trinity over time, south of Tanner and Decatur. So Decatur, especially on the north side out towards the industrial park, we're talking, this is a big heads up here. This is probably 35, 40 minutes or so if this storm continues. But the lightning is picking up with this storm, and the hail threat is increasing from Leeton just to the east as you go from Leeton to Cortland there. And we're getting more concerned. I will tell you that. We're getting more concerned with this storm here over time because of what we're seeing just in the reflectivity here of the storm approaching Old Bethel. And the other thing, we're starting to see some winds here picking. These are likely winds, that blue area. So let's go back over to the next rad Doppler radar here. Velocity is increasing a little bit in that area. Yeah, see, we've got this. There is some rotation developing right over Old Bethel, and that coincides with what we're seeing on our live radar. So that's the area of concern there. Right over Old Bethel, you need to be staying away from your windows there. Same thing from Hatton, just to the north here. As you get along Highway 157, Wolf Springs, this area circulation about to move in, so I would seek shelter away from your windows in Wolf Springs. I'd go to the center of your home. There's no tornado. Oh, look at that right there. So we're going to get a tornado warning with this, folks. This is just north of Wolf Springs along Highway 157, south of Bingham, Cottontown. Be seeking shelter now. This is going to be on the south side of Town Creek, and it is currently, let's see, it's about 5 miles due west here of Alabama Highway 101 as you get southeast of Town Creek. So I would seek shelter in Town Creek. I would seek shelter down here towards Terrytown and near Cortland. I would be thinking about where you're going to go. Again, tornado warning likely coming out with this storm. We've got a tornado signature here on the NEXRAD Doppler radar. I'll switch over to our radar here, and we continue to see signs of a possible tornado developing near Old Bethel, and it is right in this area here. Classic area of initial rotation and development within the storm, and this blue area is likely wind going straight into the storm here that we're just kind of cross-referencing. So on the backside, that larger hail that's starting to form, the colder air wrapping around the backside of the storm. So we may not have a tornado right now, but we could very well see one here over the next 5 to 10 minutes. So again, likely going to see, have they said anything in chat at all?
Nothing yet.
Okay, so again, that's the storm we're worried about right now. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning out for it, but based on the latest scan from the NEXRAD Doppler radar, we think we may have a tornado developing within this storm near Old Bethel and just to the west of Hatton. So let's get in closer, and I'm going to put another storm track on this area of the storm. On the north side from Leeton, as you get towards Cortland, we're mainly looking at some large hail in there. So I'm going to take this at about 51 miles per hour. So the possibility of severe weather, significant lightning, and maybe even a tornado moving towards Hatton around 9:07. It's now 9:03. Cortland, 9:12. Trinity, that takes us closer to Decatur, especially out towards the industrial park on the northwest side of town. That's around 9:30, so about 27 minutes from now. Again, you're not under a warning right now. You're under the tornado watch. The severe thunderstorm warning, if this storm continues the way it's going now and starting to intensify, it will be moving into Morgan County around 9:25 this evening, and this will have an impact on the northwest side of Decatur, and eventually that same storm may be moving towards Madison. So just a heads up, residents in Madison, out towards Greenbrier, the Toyota plant, Mazda Toyota, you got Polaris out there. So watching this closely as this is showing signs that it's getting stronger. And the latest indication, let's take a look at the shear here from GWX. Shear rate, it's going to jump up a bit. Yep, there it is. We got some red on there now. So that, again, that shear rate's picking that up. That may have gone away, but it was there for a pixel. Let's see what happens. Yeah, right along Highway 157 and 101. A lot of lightning moving into Cortland as well. Concern of a possible tornado developing within this storm. Storm relative velocity continues to indicate circulation. And then the other thing you have to watch here is this is kind of a dead zone for the NEXRAD Doppler radar. As you take a look, this storm is 76 miles, so the effective range here of the Doppler radar due to the curvature of the Earth is roughly 75 miles per hour. 75 miles away, that is. So, and it's also just as far away for the storm over in for the radar over in Jackson County. So we go back to our live radar. Again, I continue to be very concerned about this storm here. Just look at the difference between our live radar and the National Weather Service NEXRAD Doppler radar. I think there's a tornado forming in here. It's just west of Hatton now. It's really starting to wrap up on the back edge of this. So once again, you have this area here north of County Road 137 going out faster than the rest of the storm. And it's just showing a hook echo here on the west side of Hatton. Again, your weather radio will not be sounding right now except for that severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. And we've got damaging wind coming into Hatton. Possible tornado could develop with no warning here, but we're giving you that heads up as this storm moves in. This looks very similar, as I mentioned earlier, to the storm that moved through Limestone County. We've had a lot of storm reports, a lot of your pictures to share. So while we wait for the next step of this storm, again, you should be in your shelter there in Hatton, thinking about where to shelter maybe in Cortland as this storm showing signs of potentially down the road here in the next 5-10 minutes of producing a possible tornado. Let's go to Margot Gray with more of those reports.
Okay, we have actually a live picture. This is a live shot from our photographer on the scene of a power line that's down, but we're also hearing that this power line caught fire. I'm not sure at this point. You can see in the distance.
You see the smoke.
You can see the smoke in the distance. So this is along Walker Lane in Hazel Green right now. This is a live look at what's happening. We don't know if lightning hit that power pole or the power line dropped and caught fire. We don't know just yet, but we'll figure this out. But this is Walker Lane in Hazel Green, and this is where, along that area, we've seen some clusters of power outages as well in the Hazel Green area, as well as Tony. But you see in the distance smoke coming off that power line, and you see first responders on the scene. You see police blocking that street. This is Walker Lane in Hazel Green. We'll keep monitoring this situation.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot. I'm going to relay what we've got on our radar to the National Weather Service. You just want to type that up, say we've got a pronounced hook echo moving into Hatton. Again, this is the part of the storm we're concerned with. It's clearly starting to wrap something up here just west of Hatton. So get in your shelter there in Hatton. Again, this is County Road 131 to Highway 157, and where those intersect, that's where we're seeing the strong circulation right now within this storm. Again, this is our live Doppler radar. It is the closest radar to this storm right now, and we have that, again, a possible tornado detected on our live radar moving towards Hatton, eventually moving towards Trinity. So again, I'm going to extend this storm track out here, and that's moving east and a bit northeast. I'm going to put it back at about 51 miles per hour. So Trinity, heads up, possible storm with a possible tornado and damaging winds, large hail possible in Trinity right around 9:30 on the west side of Decatur, especially the north side of Decatur towards the river, the industrial park around 9:37. It is currently 9:08. So heads up on this storm. The lightning's really starting to jump, and those are other things we learned through research. When you get lightning jumps, that means something. You can have a storm going through tornado genesis, giving the environment. And what does tornado genesis mean? It means the developing stages of a tornado, and it's very possible that's what we've got going on here in Hatton. You get up to Town Creek, it's large hail, moving towards Cortland, high wind. Let's take a look at the hail product. We've had quite a bit of hail out there in a few areas tonight. The hail continues to show up with this storm, so it's a very strong storm. It's maintained its intensity. We're just kind of trying to fill in the fine details here with this storm that does have this possible tornado wrapping up here on the southern side. Again, anytime you get these colors here, this high reflectivity, it's possible there could be debris within this storm. So this is right along Highway 101 and Highway 157, due north of Hatton. Again, the most dangerous part of this storm, damaging straight line winds and a possible tornado with that storm there. This is just a classic look here of these kind of storms as they come in, and this is what we look at relentlessly with our live radar, of course all radars, but when you reach a point where the storm, again, the National Weather Service office is looking at the storm here from this radar vantage point, and it's a lot higher above the ground, and there's still some rotation above the ground here, which would indicate exit velocity of the storm. The overshooting top, this is basically a rotating updraft within this thunderstorm, right over the same area that our live Doppler radar is picking up, and it's getting even worse here, more intense on the northeast side of Hatton, moving towards Terrytown. Let's get in closer here. Again, it's now crossing Highway 101, and just from Highway 101, and this is Highway 157. Again, the possible tornado northeast, just east of this Naismith here, Neesmith. Moving to the east, County Road 284 in these areas. Again, we consistently see this blue area here. That's indicating most likely what this is picking up is a strong wind out of the south. And you get directly behind it, there's rotation going on within this storm here. Just north of Hatton. I'm going to switch over to the next red Doppler radar because again, this is right, yeah, see, you've got upper level storm top divergence, we call it, right over the same area on our radar that we have this hook echo. So that's what it concerns me even more, that we've got a possible tornado here approaching Cortland. It's going to be on the south side of Cortland. And as we take a look at the high top NEXRAD, again, it's not sampling the rate. It's looking up too high. So you get closer to the ground here with our live radar, and you clearly see the dangerous part of the storm here. So again, I would be taking shelter from this storm northeast of Hatton, just to the south of Cortland. Go ahead and put this from downtown Cortland. We're talking about 5 miles. So if you live about 5 miles south of downtown Cortland, that's where the dangerous part of this storm is. And this is also a fairly rural area in some of these areas. So the reports of storm damage are not going to come in as quickly as they normally would, especially if you got all this lightning and the possibility of power outages. So there's our storm we're concerned with. And as it gets closer to the next red Doppler radar over at high top, we're probably going to start to see even more of this circulation. Right now, it's just the important part of this storm, it's not being sampled properly by the next red Doppler radar.
This area is pretty prone to flooding too. I remember back in 2020 going through there after all the rain. So probably a lot of flooding. This is pretty close to the same spot as that December 2019 tornado that touched down. So just keep an eye on those areas. This is probably flooded because of the heavier rainfall. We've already seen 2 to 3 inches of rain in that area since Monday morning. So watch out for that as well. Hopefully you're not heading into a basement because of that. You just get into the middle parts of your home because if there are low-lying areas, they're going to become flooded as well. That's a concern here with these storms.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at some of these comments on my Facebook Live, trying to see if anyone's reporting anything in their area there. Really would like to hear more information from Cortland and Hatton with this storm in Lawrence County. It's getting towards the end of the warned part of the storm, the severe thunderstorm warning. And again, I still think there's a possible spin-up tornado in this. I wouldn't even call it a spin-up. It's a well-pronounced hook there on our live radar. So again, can monitor comments here real quick.
From what I'm seeing, a lot of folks are just trying to determine what the area for Hatton and what things are looking like for Cortland as well.
Yeah, the intense lightning is coming into Cortland now, probably some pea to dime-size hail. And then the area we're concerned with about a possible tornado is now northeast of Hatton. And we continue to see this feature, this little blue area. And I still think what's happening is this is the strong wind coming into this storm. And back here to the west, you've got that strong wind coming around the storm. So that, again, if there's a tornado in this storm, this is where it's most likely going to be. And the reason I'm concerned is because the wind shear is really high. So, and you've got a really strong storm out here, and there's nothing between it and areas down to the south, and it just continues to show this signature. Again, the area we're watching, if we could kind of just cut this thunderstorm out, it's going to be this area here, and it comes back around here, and then over this way. So what we're watching here is this mini supercell that's kind of stuck in this cluster of thunderstorms, but the back edge, damaging straight line winds, possible tornado, and significant lightning. As far as the hail threat goes, let's take a look at the high top. Shear rate first. You see how the shear rate's picked up on GWX. Let's see what storm relative velocity. Yeah, we still have, there's significant wind in here. And what's happening, I'm going to take this lightning off. As the storm's getting closer, see, it's getting more data from the storm. That's why it looks like it's getting stronger when in fact it's been this strong all along. And the problem is, it's in this overlapping radar network area from the National Weather Service radars where the radar, it can't see it until it gets closer. So as we take a look at the debris, see if there's any debris showing up here. And I can't call that debris, but definitely the stronger winds starting to move in. Again, shear rate increased, but again, this is something you look at over time. Sometimes it doesn't just ramp up. Again, it's the radar itself is getting more data. Oh, yeah, and see how much stronger that's getting? So there's our circulation now, southwest of Cortland. And we'll go to our live radar, and it's still fairly significant there on that southeast end. Turn the lightning back on here. Yeah, lightning strikes are really picking up there in Cortland. And this intensity will last about 15, 20 minutes, and then you'll have some heavy rain coming in. As far as this area of concern, still strong winds here moving along County Road 284, right over Terrytown and just to the north of Longtown. But overall, and heavy rain here at the studios, it's losing a little bit of that identity, but we're just going to see what happens with the NEXRAD on the next few scans. As, again, this gets closer to the NEXRAD Doppler radar. And the warning has completely expired, hasn't it? Severe thunderstorm warning has expired on this storm here. Here's the latest from the Barron product here. This has shear at 69 miles per hour. Let me stop that. Moving northeast at 54 miles per hour. The shear inside the storm is approaching 70 miles per hour. And Coxey around 934, Lawson 937, Mount Roswell 944, Athens 945. I think the worst part of the storm is going to end up to the south of that location, though. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. So again, we have that one little thunderstorm here, a strong thunderstorm, potential for damaging straight line winds, large hail, and there's still the possibility of a tornado with this storm here as we go back to high top. And the velocity is still really strong here. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm over Cortland right now with significant lightning, and the rotation is again, it's showing more. There's a new warning
New
coming.
warning.
Is it a flash flood warning probably?
A severe thunderstorm has been extended into Lawrence, Limestone, and Morgan counties till 9:45.
This is that storm we're watching right now. See, a couple of features here. As we go to the next red Doppler radar, you see how everything looks fairly uniform here. But then when we switch over to our radar, you get this appendage here. And area is notorious for these hidden tornadoes, these spin-up tornadoes within here. And as we put this into motion, I mean, it looks like it may have produced, just the spin up here on this storm has us concerned. And it's getting a little bit fatter in that area too. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and expand the view. The only warning we have is a severe thunderstorm warning that's been reissued into Morgan County. Was it Southern Limestone County as well?
Yes,
Yep.
It goes right up to Athens
Okay.
and Highway 72.
Yep. So basically, you're going to see that warning. Here it is right here. Let me put that back on. I think I had the warnings off.
You just took the lightning off, I think.
just took,
the one just to the left of that.
Oh, you're right. There it is. So there's that latest warning here. Again, this is going to be for a storm capable of damaging winds, and over time, it's still possible this could produce a tornado, considering the fact that it is in this environment where there's a lot of wind shear out there, and there's still some instability. And this is going to continue to move from Athens towards Tanner, and it continues to East Limestone, that possibility. Let's go back to the next red Doppler radar.
As you mentioned earlier, Brad, you thought it was moving a little faster than they were projecting. 55 miles per hour now is in the warning, so it has picked up speed.
All right, yeah, we're definitely starting to see more of this storm. And nothing has really changed since we started talking about this. It's because it's getting closer to the radar. So what we have in the upper levels is you've got the wind coming towards the radar there and the wind going away from the radar here. So this is rotating. This is what's keeping this storm alive, so to speak, maintaining its energy. And then when we switch over to our live radar, it's on the southern flank here, that we still see that circulation. So I'm still concerned about a possible tornado developing within this thunderstorm as it continues its track to the east and a little bit to the northeast. So this is going to be just to the west now of Alabama Highway 33, Letzen settlement, the Letzen settlement area, if you're familiar with that area, your winds are increasing from the south at about 50 miles per hour into this storm. The worst of it's now just east of Terrytown along County Road 284. And this is, again, that area on the west side, approaching Trinity. Cleveland Springs area, it's going to be just to the north of you. You guys are familiar with tornadoes there for sure. And over here towards Tanner, we're going to have to watch this storm as it moves towards Tanner as well. It's this kink in the line here coinciding with these lightning strikes, although the lightning strikes are down somewhat. So the storm overall may be weakening as it's running into some of this rain-cooled air. So that is some good news. But again, you see a distinct difference from our live radar, and I'm going to circle this area where we're closer to the ground. Area just south of Cortland. Cortland, any threat for the tornado is probably to your south. And Hatton, you're just getting a lot of lightning right now. So as we switch over to the high top next rad, you see how it doesn't sample that area closer to the ground. It's looking above it. So when you switch back, again, that's why having the live radar is so important, especially when you get to these areas that aren't covered as well. And we put our radar centrally located there in Limestone County to get a better view of all approaching storms as they come in from the west. So this is really the best view you're going to see of this storm out here west of Reynolds, and it's starting to lose that. So there's some good news. The latest scan, it's not as pronounced, so it's kind of just a break here, and that's southeast of Cortland. So that's very good news there. I'm going to put that into motion there, and you'll see a distinct change with that. See how it just kind of disappears? So that's good. That's good. So what we want is good news here. Unfortunately, the bad news is we've got a lot of rain that just continues out there. Let's go ahead and turn that off. And as we go farther west, another storm southwest of Phil Campbell and Russellville. So let's switch sources here, and let's go take a look. Didn't want to see that. This one here, lightning's picking up in this, and it's got that classic look to it as well. So This is south of Red Bay, moving towards Phil Campbell. Let's take a look at the velocity here. Yeah, we're going to get a warning for this storm. Heads up. Possible tornado developing with this storm here too. Put it on radar. Well, it's not quite correlating with it exactly, but this is a severe thunderstorm. This is 9:32, 9:23 that is. So here's what the wind shear is high, around 70 miles per hour with this storm. We're at least going to get a severe thunderstorm warning most likely for this storm, but again, it's in a more favorable area environment with the strong south winds feeding this storm. So large hail is going to become a threat with this storm. Hodges around 937. Probably going to be a threat to Phil Campbell here as well over time. Let me take this off here. So put this into motion. So it's that back edge of the storm we're watching. It's moving. The problem with these arrows, it's focused on kind of the centroid and the general motion of the storm with the algorithm, with the NexRad, but more than likely this part of the storm is moving a little bit more to the east. So I'm going to put another, I'm going to manually storm track this one here. We're going to stop this. Let's get in here. We're going to take this from Vina. I'm going to take it east-northeast at about 50 miles per hour. And I'm going to go over here and edit that storm track. So again, no warning for that storm, but I think it's at least a severe thunderstorm coming in from the west. I'm going to take this out over time. Get this over here. Oh, it's not letting me do it. All right, let's go back to Margot. We'll get this storm track together here.
Okay, we have a crew staging at Nelson Road in Limestone County at this point, trying to give us some information on the damage in that area. We know that they've had several issues with power lines down in that area. Okay, I'm going to send it out to Kaylee Schuyler.
Well, we got a tornado warning now.
No, severe thunderstorm warning.
Oh, severe thunder. Okay, go to Kaylee.
Okay.
We've already covered this. Again, severe thunderstorm warning coming out.
Kaylee, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, what's that behind you?
Okay, so yes, I'm here on Nelson Road. I'm in Elkmont. This is a bunch. I'm going to step out of the way. I know it's the lighting. It's very, very dark out here, so the lighting's kind of hard to see. I wish I could get you guys a better picture. But this is a bunch of metal just bent, laying on the side of the road. And there's nothing like this around here. Even on my drive in, everything seems completely normal. There was a lot of traffic on the road, but then you come here to Nelson Road and you can see this. And what you can't see is right behind it, there is a bent power pole and there is a power line drooping across the road. I'm going to try to get some video in between some hits so you guys can get a better look at that. But it's just crazy what is happening right here. There's some other metal that's wrapped around that power pole and it's basically just leaning up against a tree is the only thing that's holding it up, and there's a house right behind it. So the house is pretty lucky. Right now there is one utility crew down the road that you also can't see, but there's not a lot going on out here. And there's another power outage on Elkmont Road that I have not been to yet, but that's all I know right now. I'm going to try to get you guys some better video of what exactly is going on, because it is, well, that got you a better look at that lightning right there.
Yeah. Before you go though, Kaylee,
but yeah,
tell
Margo,
me
I'm going to throw
that
that to you. That's all I have right now.
Before you go though, on Nelson Road, you mentioned that it's very dark out there. Anybody with power on that road?
It doesn't appear as though. There have been some cars driving back and forth, and I tried to stop some neighbors, but I think they thought I was just waving at them. So I tried to talk to some people, but it is pitch black out here. I can't see any homes that have any power.
Okay, but you did say a crew is on that scene trying to get that power pole back upright, as well as at least get someone to restore power in that area.
So I haven't seen a crew working on this scene exactly. They were down the road. I can try to turn my camera, but again, you're not going to be able to see anything. They were down the road at another power pole that looks like it was sitting upright. So I'm sure there's a chain reaction here that they're trying to work on to get as many homes power back as possible. But they're actually not even on this road anymore. They're down closer to Section Line Road. But yeah, so far I haven't seen a crew on this right here, but there is one utility crew up and down the road.
Okay, thank you, Kaylee. We're going to continue to get these damage reports in all night. We know that we've seen a lot of heavy rain, a lot of strong winds, as well as the flooding concerns still lingering out there, Brad.
Oh, definitely. That flooding concern is going to last the rest of the night. Had to take the jacket off. Getting warm in the studio right now. Here's that latest severe thunderstorm warning, and it just continues to be. This is a supercell storm, so we've got the potential for damaging straight line winds. A lot of lightning with this, damaging straight line winds, large hail, and there is a growing tornado threat within this storm. And I've got Hackleburg in here just in case it turns a little bit more to the right. It's really starting to throw these lightning bolts out too. So we've got Hackleburg at 9:42, and we got Rockwood at 9:45, Phil Campbell 9:50, and Russellville 9:50. Right now it is 9:30. Again, a lot of lightning. The hail core track is most likely in Vina now, and that's going to make it up towards Rockwood. At Russellville, the worst of this is probably going to end up to your south. Well, let's go ahead and delete the storm track. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this as well as we take a look now what's going on inside the storm. Go back over here towards the GWX. That's the radar over there at Columbus Air Force Base in Mississippi. Switch to velocity. There's just a lot of noisy velocity in here, so I think, oh man, this is a really strong storm here, and the shear rate not overly impressive. So again, we've seen worse tonight, but the fact that we're starting to get more and more of this is the worst part of this storm. The lightning really picking up here. So we turn that off. We've got really strong winds towards and away. This is just southeast of Vina. And our wind speeds here are looking at on the order of 63, 58, and you get on the other side, 74 miles per hour. So we've got circulation that's developing here, 93 miles per hour. It's around this area here. So I'm going to zoom out here. But that's the area of concern within this storm. It's due west of Hodges. And this is right along the county line here as you get from Marion County to Franklin County. Again, southern Franklin County with the storm. Here's the latest track here on this. Barron Tornado Index up to about a 5 here out of 10 within this storm. That's probably the highest we've seen so far today. Wind shear is at 80 miles per hour. So the shear, the spin in this storm is approaching 80 miles an hour. So definitely the most dangerous storm you guys have seen down there in Franklin County so far this afternoon. So as I zoom out here, I'm going to approximate here where we've got the radar information. So the storm, this part of the storm, this is what's interesting. You got storm relative velocity. Got this here. This is going to be down here along Highway 27. And then as you switch back to the radar, that's correlating in the same spot. So I think we may have a tornado developing within this storm. So Hodges, you need to be thinking about where you're going to go in the case this does start producing a tornado. It's moving to the east, and it continues to get better organized. I bet the hail threats. This has got it's a classic supercell storm here now, and we've got what we call the V-notch going on. You've got this area here and this area here on the storm. So everywhere in between here, the air is being forced to rise very, very quickly. And this is producing large hail southwest of Russellville. So I would be seeking shelter. Think about where you're going to go to shelter here in Phil Campbell. Let's get in closer here and give you more of a time frame here for this part of the storm that's right now on the Marion and Franklin County line. We're going to move this a bit northeast here. Again, this is the southern. Again, Phil Campbell, 9:52. So this is 20 minutes. Again, there's no tornado warning yet, but if you want to know when this is going to be in and threaten your area, we're talking Phil Campbell, the worst part of this storm, the circulation part of this storm. I don't want to say the worst part because the worst part could turn out to be hail in some of these areas. So Phil Campbell, 9:52. Hodges, 9:36. I'm going to check back in on that storm moving to Decatur as well in just a few minutes. But again, this is the more significant storm right now. Shear rate
And that's riding 500 joules per kilogram Cape line.
Yeah.
So that's where we have the most intense instability right now.
Instability. So this is going to be the stronger, most likely this will be the strongest storm we have as we go through the next 30, 40 minutes or so. And we look at the storm relative velocity picking up a little bit, and the radar signature continues to show that. And let's go to debris and see if it's got anything showing up. Again, the debris has been rather contaminated tonight on a lot of these products we're seeing. So velocity, let's take a look at light. Okay. Boy, again, this is a significant severe thunderstorm, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tornado warning here in the next 5 to 10 minutes from that storm, if it continues down this road of where we're starting to see that rotation. So I'm going to switch over here, go back to radar. Oh, I did want to show the hail. Let's take a look at the hail here. Yeah, hail still fairly decent here, probably pea-sized to dime-sized hail in that storm near Cortland, but the hail getting larger here as you go southwest of Russellville. So switch back over to our live Doppler radar. Going to switch the lightning back on. Actually put the warnings back on lightning. So one thing that you don't see here, this is another thing, it's being attenuated the farther you go out. It doesn't look as heavy. That's why, again, constantly switching radar sources. Here's the strong storm moving towards Trinity. Not seeing that classic signature on the back edge, but still possible that this is a severe thunderstorm moving in. And they've got the severe thunderstorm warning out for it. You definitely know it's coming due to all the lightning, strong gusty winds around this storm. This will continue to move to the east. And let me put a track on this for this strong to severe thunderstorm here. Moving east, northeast. This is picking up at about 50 miles per hour. That puts it into Madison here around 10, a little 1 after 10 o'clock. So that basically our newscast will likely be preempted here due to severe weather that we continue. Decatur 948, Tanner 946, Greenbrier 955, and this is going to travel right up I-565. There's heavy rain there on 565 right now. That's shifting to the north. So hopefully what's going to happen is this will help stabilize the atmosphere a little bit out ahead of this. But regardless, we've got significant lightning going on with the storm, again, just to the west of Trinity. This is going to track, as we mentioned earlier, this is going to track on the northwest side of Decatur towards Tanner, out towards the Browns Ferry exit where they're building the new Buc-ee's there near, I think that's exit 347 on I-65. But that's still an intense part of the thunderstorm. We're monitoring very closely. Let's take a look at the next Doppler radar and see what it is showing us here with the velocity. Still indicating some strong winds there, but no twisting winds right now within this storm. But again, we'll watch this backside, see on the very back edge of that, switching over to our live radar. So this storm may be developing a little farther south. So again, we'll watch this for you in Trinity as the storm shows a little bit of new development farther on the south side of the storm. I'm going to reset the view here. So overall, we've got 2 severe thunderstorms. Very heavy rain continues out towards Newmarket, flash flooding probably ongoing in northern Limestone County, up into Lincoln and Giles County. And this storm here is getting a little bit stronger, moving again towards Newmarket, near Chase, as you get towards the Maysville area. But it's not severe. I don't think that's going to be severe. But the storm over here is severe. So we're going to watch these 2 storms. I'll circle them for you. One of them is the one west of Decatur and Trinity, and the other one is the one northwest of Hackleburg, and that by far is the stronger storm with the stronger circulation associated with it. Lightning, again, an indicator of the storm strength overall, and the possibility there's some large hail out here with this storm in and around Russellville. So again, this storm up here still bears watching. We're really starting to see more of this big notch on the back edge of this storm, but not really correlating with the back edge here on the velocity. So this is getting north of Hodges, doesn't have tight circulation right now. So right now it's just a severe thunderstorm, possibly producing large hail, damaging winds, and this is going to be out from Rockwood to Phil Campbell. Again, just in that last scan, I'll take the lightning off. There's so much lightning on there. Well, it's still indicating some circulation But you see the other edge of this, it kind of lost some of that. It's perhaps they changed modes of the radar as well. Again, the Weather Service controls that radar.
If you want to get a little sciencey with this, Brad, on Max 2, I've got storm relative helicity lined up with the CAPE with this storm.
All right, go ahead and share that.
Yeah, right now, if you pop up Max 2, right there you see the red line just south on radar of where that strongest storm is. That is where the most intense instability is at right now. So that is riding that contour or that wave of instability, and inside that blue circle is where we have what we call storm relative helicity, and that is where there's the strongest rotation in the atmosphere. So this is lining up right now where we have the best ingredients that we've had all night with these storms. That's why that storm continues to blossom just to the south and west of Russellville, to the west of Phil Campbell. So that's why we need to continue to keep a close eye on this, because even though it does not have